Hey guys, this is Jeff on the Entrefied podcast tonight. If you're unfamiliar with our website, what we do is we talk with guests, professional and business people, and also we have authors on the show. If you're a professional, go to entrefied.com and sign up with our form, and you may be able to be on the show. We're in 37 different countries. Very interesting stuff that we hope you're enjoying it as well. But what I want to talk to you about tonight is I want you to look at part three of our workbook that we call PAR. Now, PAR stands for Plan, Adapt, Repeat. So if you haven't seen part one and two, get that. Part one, especially, this is a morning routine. This is something that you get for free when you join our free newsletter. Go to entrefied.com. It's www.entrefied.com, and you can get our PAR course, or PAR workbook, I should say, in our free newsletter. You also, when you join the free newsletter, you can get transcripts, things like that, special content. I want to get right to what we want to talk about today, though. Scheduling what you need to do. Okay, so I've got 10 minutes to pull this off because I've set myself a timer. I don't want to waste your time. I want to get right into it. So if you hear the timer go off, I've got to speed it up because I want to make sure I'm adding great value and not wasting your time. So scheduling what you need to do. Think about the things that has gone right in your life. That's the first thing. This is the third part of the course. So I hope you've seen the one and two. Like I said, don't skip those. But we're to the point that I want you to start focusing on the good stuff as well. So think about the things that's gone right in your life. You know, success leaves clues. So why do you think you've been successful? I mean, it ain't by accident. Yes, we've got people that work with us, that helps us. You know, I always heard it said like this: when you reach that next step, look around, throw out a hand and pull somebody else up to that next step that you're on. So help other people. And you cannot reach success on your own. There's no self-made a lot of times. Everybody wants to say self-made. Everybody has a helping hand somewhere. Might not have been a person, could have been an organization, could have been that they had money to go to school, could have been somebody that had helped them along the road, or maybe just a ride down the road. It all ties in together. We're all here to help one another. So find the reasons for your success. That's point number one. Find what has worked for you. So why have you been so successful in those things? It's not by accident. Find the clues. Find out what you need to know. Write down below, I put down here, why you think you have been so successful. Again, you get this free newsletter, or get this in our free newsletter, excuse me. Please think about others for a moment. Think specifically about the results and traits they have that has given them success. You know, we all have mentors in our life. There's always mentors in your life. Those people that you look at, they're helping you whether you realize it or not. It might be subconsciously. You're not even conscious that that idea you come up with was actually helped by somebody else in your life. So just recognize that you have teachers all the way around you. Now, some of them are teaching you what not to do, and some people are teaching you what to do. But I want you to write down some of the things of the people that you admire that's successful and model those things that work for you. Model success and you get greater success. So look at the things that you admire about somebody and what they've accomplished and what has led to what you believe is their success. So look for those principles and habits in their own life. You know, I'm telling you, you have a world of leaders out there. You have a world of models out there that you can look at and say, hey, wait a minute, I don't want to do that. Or look at that one thing that they did well right here. So look at those things, write them down. People want to tell you that they know everything, but they don't want to write anything down. They say, oh, I know how to do that. Well, why ain't you doing it? Well, I just ain't got time. Write down, make a plan, write it down here. And as I said before, look at our PAR part one, which is talking about every day. What did you learn yesterday? And what are you going to apply to today based on what you wrote down yesterday? What are some of those repeatables? What is repeatables? Repeatables are things that are successful, things that you want to repeat today. And yes, I want you to write down what you learned yesterday that you failed at, or you know you didn't do right, or what you could have done better at. But also look at those things that you're doing well where you can continually repeat those things in your life. I need to move on, guys. There's a lot of information here, and I'm looking at the clock. Oh man, I almost got to do this in 5 minutes, just a little over 5 minutes, guys. So you can also learn a lot from failures. What are some of the reasons you think you have failed in the past? List some of the habits, actions. Let's see, identify the reasons for your failures. below so you can recognize, I'm reading this here. Yes, so you can recognize when you're sabotaging yourself. Super important. Do you realize that we fall into patterns? And when we fall into those patterns, we continually get results, but it's not necessarily in the right direction, in the positive direction that we want to go. So recognize those failures. I wanted to write that down where you guys can see it here. There's so much information actually that I've cut out of this workbook because I wanted to condense it. I didn't want to just give you a lot of information. These are some of the things that just, if you apply these things, like I said, they will change your life, especially part one. Part one is really good. Part two is good. Part three is good too. I'm not saying it's not. You need to go through it, but part one is about consistency. It's about doing a morning routine every day. It's very simple. Here's a big one. What are some of the things that motivate you? See, when you understand what motivates you, you can play to that. But if you don't understand that, you know, you're showing up and you're like, I don't know what makes me happy. I don't know what makes me motivated. What are some of the things that give you drive? What are some of the reasons that get you going? What would that be for you? Have you ever had a day that you were not productive? What was some of the reasons for that? Well, just bad days, had bad thoughts. You know, I had people coming at me, all this. Could it have been some of the negative turmoil that you was thinking about that you didn't reconstruct to a positive thing? That sounds ridiculous, right? So you don't really think that when you're, let's say, cut off in traffic, or when somebody yells at you, or when you don't have really good relationships in your life, that it doesn't affect you. You think it doesn't affect you. Why are we having these things show up in our lives every day? And we see them every day. Every day, there's some semblance of the same thing I'm talking about here, which is negative thoughts, negative turmoil, you know, turmoil in your life, which turmoil is negative. But anyway, excuse me, guys, I got a little turned around there. But we have those things that show up in our life, yet we fail to plan for them. Now I understand if you're proactive, you may say, hey, I can see this coming, even if I've not been in that subject matter, or I hadn't been in that particular area or that category. I've never played. Let's say, for instance, it's sports. You can apply this to life. I've never played golf, but I played basketball. I played baseball. And, you know, golf has its struggles. You know, what are some of the things that I can think about? You know, you want to control your emotions, right? You don't want to get mad. You don't want to break your club, right? You want to you want to find peace. You want to think through. I'm not a golfer, so I can't speak to that. But what I'm trying to say, I do know some people who play golf. But what I'm saying is you need to learn what works. What do you keep running into? What do you keep running into every day? You know, if you kept getting angry on the golf course and you keep hitting it wrong, you keep going left with it or going right, and you don't drive it straight down the center. It's off. What can you do to correct that? And that's what I'm talking about in life. If it's the people you're hanging out with, or it's you're waiting till the last minute to do things, or you're not early, you're always late. You know, what's some of those things, right? So here's another thing. I want you to think of a day that it was very productive. I want you to think what went right. And here's another thing. Even if you don't have an experience like that, which most people do, and we fail to write those things down because we think, oh, they don't matter. It's just a good day. No, there's reasons you had a good day. And I've got almost less than 1 minute. Actually, it's a little bit over 1 minute. There's reasons you had a good day, guys. Start recording them. But if you didn't have a good day, wait till you did have a good day and you start recording them. And that leads me to my next point. Capture the information that you need to capture in a day. If you need to write something down, or you got a great idea, you got something that happens, find a centralized location and start recording the information that you need where you can come back to it later. Don't think you just remember it. Now that you've listed the goals, which one of these goals needs to be scheduled? Start thinking about how you're going to schedule it. Oh, well, I'm almost out of time, guys, because I don't want to waste your time today, remember? So start figuring out what you need to do. One more thing, schedule with times when you need to do certain things. It needs to be scheduled and it needs to have its own time. Okay, go to entrefied.com and get our free newsletter, and you can get this workbook. Guys, believe me, you need to get this. Get part one especially. I appreciate you listening. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.